Hey, so this is pretty late, or very, very late. It's been like almost a whole month since Samurai Jack ended. Regardless, I wanted to talk about the ending and put in my 2 cents, even though everyone has put in their 2 cents. Um, but I'll just talk about like how I thought about the ending. Um, while showing you my me drawing some Ashi art. Okay, so before I go into all negatives and stuff, I always wanted to say that I really enjoyed this series. It was very, very good. It was very beautiful. Um the art, like, I didn't really realize how good the art of the show was until I actually like watched it. um you hear people at school tell you like, oh, somebody Jack, that show, the art of that show is just so amazing. It inspired me to become an animator and stuff. You hear that like a lot from animation students. But I did not grow up on the show like that. I knew about it. I seen like a few episodes when I was a kid, but I did not really watch it. No, because back then I was just a girly girl. I didn't really like boy things. I was like, this is a boy show. I'm not gonna watch a boy show. But yeah, and I got older. I'm old now. This is a good show, regardless of gender. This was a very great show, and it's beautiful and it's very inspiring. Genndy is a genius. It's amazing. Um, yeah, so this was I just love the show. I'm like watching reruns like almost every day. Um, but anyway, I wanted to get into why I don't think Ashi should have died, and why I don't even think Jack should have went back to the past. And it's like, what? Jack not go back to the past? That's like his whole goal, his whole thing is in the song. Um, yeah, I know that, but I don't know. For me, I never really expected him to actually go into the past. Um, how do I explain this? I watched some of the first seasons of the show too, and recently, and the way it was portrayed, it felt like a journey Jack is on that he never really gets to. Um, like the lesson of the show is, to me, felt like the lesson of the show would have been that you can't change the past. Not really. You can only go forward to the future and learn to let go. And it feels like that's the kind of lesson they were trying to show with Ashi's death. This is how it kind of ends with Jack, like, um, kind of like accepting it. It felt like the ending was trying to say that, you gotta accept death and accept loss. Just keep living on. And that's a good lesson, but it was weird how was presented. Like, I felt like that lesson should have been applied to Jack losing his parents and not being in that timeline anymore. That he's letting go of his old past, move on to his future. In this timeline he's in with with Aku and stuff, post Aku situation. Because he spent quite some time in this future he's in with the Scotsman and all these robots and everything. 50 years in the future, only about like what 2018, 20 years of his life was spent in his past with his family. Um, I don't know, like, to me, if you, I feel it's like you already got used to living in the future by that point than living in the past, since he technically has spent more time in the future than in his own timeline. But going back to like how I felt of the lesson, um, yeah, to me it felt like the show's lesson was you can't move on. You can move on, but you should move on and not like obsess over the past. Like with Jack seeing his father and his family in those hallucinations, those things that's going on with him in season 5 in the beginning. Him keep seeing them, they're torturing him and stuff. Those images of his family just being in pain. Yeah, it just felt like the lesson would have been like, move on from that, move on. Especially when you see Ashi come to the picture, and I guess episode, was it 5? Was it 4? Well, it was episode, when it was white. It was episode right after they was in that monster, and they got out the monster, and Jack took Ashi on that serpent thing, and they split up. They split ways. He said goodbye to her, and then he went on that. He went to that campfire, and then she comes. He's like crying. I mean, he sees his family in the fire, and they're like crying and stuff. And then he's like, "Oh my gosh, let's please stop." And then Ashi comes into the scene, demanding answers from him. Like that felt like symbolism. Like they were saying like, let go of your past and let in some new love, new friends. Like Ashi is like a new person in your life that you can care about. Um. So yeah, it was like kind of like where I thought the show was gonna go, and I also thought the show. Well, for the ending, I kind of expected that Jack would have died. Not that I wanted him to die, but it felt like there were some clues that he would die. I guess now you could probably say they're red herrings, but there is like some scenes, um, kind of like some Christ Messiah scenes in this show in season 5. Um, because there's in the first episode of season 5, you see Jack's father. He's like in the fireplace, in the fire, and his arms are like kind of out up high, kind of like he's on the cross, just burning in hell, and I don't know. You kind of could probably. It's kind of stretch. You could probably say Jack's um um internal anger, that image of himself that he keeps seeing, that keep telling him to just kill himself. You could probably say it's like the devil telling Jack to kill himself. Um, there's some other scenes where Jack has his arms out, looking kind of like Christ-like. Um, you got the long beard, the hair is down. He's in these rags, kind of looking like Christ imagery. Um, Very typical for like superheroes, especially like like Superman and Wonder Woman. They do that a lot. Um, but what else? I thought that it would have ended with either Jack dying or like him killing Aku somehow to make some age again. And then he just becomes old, and he dies. So I also thought that Jack was aging too. I thought like I know they said that he wasn't aging, but I thought that he was, because if you look at like episode 1 this season, some scenes when he's fighting, he does have a lot of wrinkles on his face, but you could just say he's just very tormented right now, and he's in battle, so he's making funny, really exaggerated expressions, so his face could probably wrinkle up a lot, but he looks kind of wrinkled a little bit, and there's also some things that happen. Like the episode when after Ashi has finally become good, and they go to that factory to save those children. There was this part where Ashi says, "Do you hear that sound?" And Jack's reply is, "No, one." So he says no. And I thought that meant that he couldn't hear. He couldn't hear what that sound was, and when they went off, he stops and grabs Ashi and throws her up on top of that the tower thing. He tells her to go find the source of the sound. And I thought that was because he couldn't hear it. Like, Ashi, you gotta go find it because I can't hear it. My hearing isn't as well as it used to be. Um, and I also heard people say like Jack in this season he can't really jump as well as he could in the previous seasons. Because there were those jump good guys. They made an appearance in episode 10. They could jump very high, and I guess Jack hasn't really jumped that high in this season, so people were saying that he can't jump as good anymore. What else happened that I thought? Oh, I had one more that I thought he was Asian too. What was it? Oh man, what was it? It was something. I had some proof. What was it? Yeah, it was like, okay, he couldn't hear, he couldn't jump as good. He couldn't do something else too. I forgot what it was. I mean, I also heard people were saying like his beard becomes kind of gray at some parts, but that could just be animation error or just a coloring error or just because of a scene like you don't want to blend in his beard and his hair too much, probably. So it's kind of like debatable. Um, but there was something else that made me think he was aging still, and I can't remember what it was. Man, I really had something, and I don't remember what it was. Okay, now I remember. Now I remember what my point was. Okay, so the other um, point I had as to why I thought Jack was aging was the fight scene he had with the daughters of Aku in, I guess, episode 3. It's the second fight in the snow, of course, because snow is white, so white is Jack's signature color. It's to show that he has the advantage. Um, but in that fight scene, like close to the end, like right before he goes on top of the log, um, there is a part where there's kind of like this daredevil moment where he stops and just breathes. He gets tired and he stops to just breathe, and they're just waiting on him to catch his breath. You start fighting again, but yeah. So that was kind of like my other. That's like another reason why I thought he was aging, because he had to stop to breathe. While the girls, they were kind of okay. Um, I remember they did this before with the previous season with Jack fighting the Scotsman when they first met, but I think it was like hours of them fighting like nonstop. But this Jack had some time to you know clean his wounds and rest, take a nap, eat something. Yeah, here he got kind of tired pretty fast, faster than he usually gets. I understand that it's like seven girls fighting him, six girls fighting him at once, but it seemed kind of fast for Jack to get tired that quickly. So I thought that there was supposed to be like some hints that Jack was already aging and that he might die by the end of the series, or that he was just getting older. Um, But yeah, that was something I noticed that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about. Maybe they are, but I ain't really see a lot of videos of people talking about how Jack has showed some signs of aging in this season. That even though they say that he's supposed to not age, um, but that was my theory, and I probably should have said that theory like when the show was still running. It would been more relevant than now, but whatever. Um, yes, that was why I thought that. Yeah. Um, so okay. Yes, I thought the show was supposed to be about Jack accepting loss of his parents and stuff. Um, and everything, but yeah, of course that didn't happen. Um, what was I gonna say? I was going to say that. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about like why I didn't. I uh, I don't think he should have went to the past to begin with. Um, Jack going back to the past is also like a very complex moral issue that I thought the show would at least try to tackle, but they didn't. They did not though. They just went and did it. They did it in a very quick way so that the characters wouldn't even be able to think about it. Which I guess you could probably also argue that they should have thought about it because Jack has had 50 years to think about it, but they skipped time and stuff, and they didn't really show those things. So yeah. So I was just thinking like, why would he go back to the past when like that could potentially alter time for the future? It could possibly kill off the Scotsman, uh, the samurai dude, the talking dogs, and um, all his friends in that timeline. I heard someone make an argument that the people of this timeline they are okay with Jack going back to the past and altering their future because they now know that Jack's purpose was to go back to the past and kill that past Aku. From watching Aku's broadcast in episode 10, like after they saw that broadcast, they all knew now that what Jack had to do. They were willing to sacrifice their lives, literally on this in this timeline, and for like uh, the future, or the past out well whatever that they knew that Jack had to go back to the past and change things. They were okay with it, but there was a flaw in their argument. That goes to the Scotsman when when Jack meets up with the Scotsman in episode 10. The first thing that the Scotsman does is offer his kids to Jack. He says, "Jack, I got all these daughters. Marry one. Like, pick whichever one you like. Marry one. Make me proud. Be my son-in-law. Let's be fam." So like he wants to be fam. He wants Jack and him to be family. Him to be Jack's new daddy. Like that's another thing. Like Jack, you did not have to go back to the past to get a daddy, because Scotsman would have been your daddy if you wanted a dad. Scotsman would have been your dad. But yeah, um, so that kind of shows you that the Scotsman probably did not know that Jack would have would go to the past and change their future, because the Scotsman is very protective over his children. I don't really see like why would he just offer his kid, well, one of his kids to Jack for a wife, just for him to run off to the past with his one of his girls and potentially kill off kill him, kill the Scotsman, and kill the rest of his daughters. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like he's so protective of his kids. Like really, he went after offered him all of his girls, and like maybe all of them take them to the path with you and keep them safe. Or just not do it all because if he dies, if the Scotsman dies, and that could kill his kids too. Like, or even if he doesn't die, like what if he doesn't meet his wife, that giant woman? Like, what if he doesn't meet his wife? Then that will erase his kids from the timeline, from its existence. Same thing with Ashi. Like, you can say like maybe almost everybody in the future probably could have been erased because of Jack's decision. And that's kind of like why I don't really like this ending with him going back to the past, because it's very complex and it's very it has a big morality debate, and the show is not long enough. It wasn't long enough to talk about it. It wasn't. If it had more time, maybe it could have done this. It could have did it, but cause I think that if they did try to talk about it, the Scotsman would be on the opposite side. He would not have wanted Jack to go back to the past. Um, I think Jack would probably be more conflicted after him and Ashi became like, with him discovering that he's like in love with her. I think he'd probably been conflicted if they had more time to like marinate on the idea, because everything goes by so fast. This last episode it was just so fast that you couldn't really marinate on anything. Um. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's why I don't think they knew, because the Scotsman, he didn't know. He proved that he didn't know. Um. And yeah, I don't like that Ashi gets erased from existence. I like even if he did it differently, like even if I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Um, there was a line in the previous episodes, like right before Jack starts just murdering all of her sisters. Um, he says a line. He says, "The choices you make and the actions that follow shows who you really are." Like, okay, that line was told to him, to a young Jack, by his father, when when the Emperor kills some thieves or someone trying to like take over the throne in his past. Um, that's a good line, and I wish they used that line for the ending, because I think it holds a lot of weight for the ending of the show. Like, that's kind of the problem with the endings, that Jack doesn't really make a choice. It's mostly like Jack is just flung into the situation. Ashi is the one that flings them into the past. He doesn't like crushes it. He doesn't have a chance to like debate anything, to be conflicted on anything. Um, it's kind of like, oh, I got Aku's powers. Grab sword, fling to the past, bam, in the past, kill Aku, done. It was like it went by so fast that no one can really like just stop and like debate anything, and it's kind of a shame because this is like an Adult Swim show now. This is like the mature Samurai Jack. This is like the adult Samurai Jack series. Which is, I know, even the kids show. The kids show wasn't even the kids show wasn't even really like a kids show. Samurai Jack's always been very complex, and it dealt with death before. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen some episodes where Jack has to kill somebody because they want to die. That's a very complex episode to show to some kids. Um, Very emotional, very adult themes. Um, yeah, but that's the kind of problem with this ending, is that it's not very complex. It's not that thought provoking. It's just things that happen, and it happens so fast, and it tries to be emotional, but the characters are so like kind of detached from the situation. It's they don't really think about anything. It's just things just happen to them. It's just action, reaction, action. It's not even much reaction because he can't even marinate on things that happen around him. Um, I don't, I don't really like it because if even like you know Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon cartoon, it's not. It's pretty much it's a really good show. It's pretty much in the same standards as Samurai Jack. It has complex issues on the show and stuff. But even with that show, and that was the one that was made for kids, having kid characters, and even they even debate on like the morality of killing someone, killing the villain in their last episode. So it's kind of hard to think about, to like for Jack to not even think about that kind of stuff, or and just to go back to the past, like it's like how I still don't get like how do you not think about killing Ashi and killing his friends possibly, because even with Legend of or not Legend for Avatar: The Last Airbender, even Aang realizes and accepts the deaths of his friends and his family from the past. Like he is in a coma for some years or some hundred of years. And now he's in this time period, and he has to deal with the death of his family and the fact that he wasn't around to protect the world and dealing with genocide. Like his whole race was like killed off, genocide by the Fire Kingdom, right? Fire Kingdom, what they call um, oh the Fire Nation, and he has to deal with that. He accepts it, and he doesn't let his sorrow consume him. He learns to find new love. He has his new friends. He has Katara as his wife. Then he has Sokka as his brother-in-law in the newer series, and he has his kids Tenzin and his grandchildren. So he moves on. And it's kind of like weird how he goes through all this stuff. Like his whole race, they was killed off. Like his whole race. It was genocide. Yet he can move on from it. Yet Samurai Jack, who's an older man, and it's like more so an adult show because now it's on Adult Swim, but he can't move on from it. It just felt kind of strange. Cause even like okay, I watched like the older season 2. In this episode, when he remembers his past, he sees like during his time in the future, he goes and he sees his old kingdom, and just the ruins of that kingdom. His family is dead, and like those people, they might it's hinted that they not all of them survived. Maybe probably a few survived from that. It's a very sad moment, but not everyone in Jack's race. Excuse me. Anyone in Jack's race died though. There are still Japanese people in the future timeline. uh like he's met like that Japanese family, the episode when his shoes get messed up. He meets them and they fix his shoes and stuff. They're very traditional. They keep the traditions, and the dad owns like a shoe factory, I guess, or something like that. A shoe shop. So there's probably other people buying his shoes. They're all very traditional. Ashi, she Japanese and stuff, and her mom and stuff. So it's not like his whole race was um had like was like ethically cleansed. Um, or anything. Like there is justification, you can say, because there's a lot of these aliens in on Earth and stuff, but this he doesn't have as much pain as well, probably pain, but he doesn't have as much like trauma and stuff going on as Aang from Avatar, and it felt very weird how that happened. Like he's what goes to the past to me. It just felt very strange. Like I was not expecting that to happen. Um, because you can kind of argue that even though Aku, he's evil. He is evil, and he did like destroy his whole family kingdom and stuff. We don't see his family. We don't see his family die really in the old show. The slaves, no, not dead, but it was kind of implied. They had a horrible life as slaves, and that could potentially kill them. So, um, but there was this line that Jack kept saying in earlier uh, episodes of this season. He kept saying like, "Aku's has killed has destroyed everything. All the beauty of this world is now destroyed because of Aku." He's telling that to Ashi and stuff. And then they have that whole part of the episode where he's showing her all the damage that Aku has done. These like Earth has become kind of like Australia. You got these alien war criminals coming to Earth and just living on Earth and taking up land of places that people like innocent children live at. So it's kind of implied that those aliens they're probably gonna kill those kids and kill those villagers. There are a lot of ruined villages around here and there in the series. Um, so there's a lot of bad things happening, but there's also some good stuff. Like we don't know if Aku is the reason why technology has advanced so far that it has in the series, because technology you probably wouldn't have had computers if it wasn't for the war. Like we make computers because we wanted to like decode Soviets' messages. Most technology came from war, um, and I kind of feel like that is something happening with like Samurai Jack. Like they're going up against magic, so technology has became very advanced. You had talking dogs and these laser guns, robots, all this stuff. Um, even like, but Samurai Jack is such a beautiful show. Like he says that the world is this is a forsaken timeline, but it's really not. Because again, like the first episode is just all these beautiful trees and these leaves turning gold, and it's just very beautiful. And the the water, these beautiful creatures, like even the monster that eats them. He says like even in the even the bowels of the darkest creatures, there was beautiful light. So there are some good things. Like you saw the inside the creature, there was like these lights. I don't know what they were, like Victoria or something, but they was like very beautiful. They glowed in the dark like these fish-like um, germs. I don't know what they really were in that creature. It was very beautiful. Um, like during Ashi's travels to find Jack, she goes through the she goes through the world and she sees the beautifulness of the world, and she even encourages herself in the beauty of the world, of these trees, these flowers, and the leaves and stuff. So yeah, so this timeline it was bad, but it could have been rebuilt. It doesn't. mean that it's forsaken. That you need to just give up on it. That's what I think. I don't think he had to like give up on that timeline and just like reboot everything.